with the standard Trumna being things of legend, because this thing, it has saved my butt in so many situations when they turn around and went, it's being primed. First thing I did was level that thing up. It had to be done because it's the Trumna Prime. Mastery rank 15 instead of mastery rank 13. 85 damage instead of 82. It has two rare pieces. The barrel is on the Meso T7, the Axi T12 holds the receiver, the Neo W2 holds the blueprint as the common drop, meaning the Lith N16 has the stock as the uncommon drop. All you have to do is go to the codex, search Trumna, it will list the relics and also show you exactly where these relics are actually dropping. The best way to compare these, what is the difference? 50 magazine is better, it reloads quicker, it has 0.4 times crit multiplier, 4% more status, more impact, meaning more damage. It has a bigger magazine for the semi-fire. It has more radial. Even though it was 1,000 before, it's gone up. It is still way more damage than its standard version. I wish I could tell you what polarities were on the original one. I have no idea. As I said, 9 forma deep. But the Prime version does come with 2 polarities on it already. A V and one that will definitely be going away. Maybe. We shall see. But kills with primary fire charge up alternate fire, which releases a bouncing projectile that explodes on contact. I've mentioned it several times before, possibly in this video. The normal Trumna saved my butt on several occasions where you have to go primary only and you need some amazing crowd control capabilities. So when the Trumna Prime came around, yeah, I was all excited for this thing coming out and being absolutely amazing. It was not as good as I remember it being. Don't get me wrong here, it is still a really good primary weapon, but I think I prefer my Gotva Prime to this any day of the week. That comes down more to the accuracy of the Gotva is better than the splash damage of the Trumna. That's all. So for day-to-day accuracy and everything else, not getting rid of my Gotva Prime for love nor money. Whereas anything else, Trumna Prime, yeah, I think I'm still going to stick with it because it is still a good weapon. Though I will need to former this thing to get rid of that the dash polarity in the Exiler slot there, because terminal velocity is kind of a must on this, simply down to the projectiles on this are a little bit slow. They're not incredibly slow, but having that in there just makes them so much better and increases the accuracy because it's getting there quicker so much. I would say ignore Rhyme Rounds and Malignant Force because I was using this against the Corpus, so it did have magnetic on it. Though, not really sure why high voltage was there, though it's high voltage and electricity that actually give the magnetic, so yeah, the Malignant Force is mixing with the inert blast fire on this to give it gas damage. And before anybody wishes to correct me, its base damage is heat, not blast, and if I go over you can see it's mixing with the toxin and it's creating gas damage. I was reading this, not this, so I apologise. But simply swapping the Malignant Force and high voltage around will give it radiation and viral instead of magnetic and gas. How you run it depends upon the faction you are going up against to be able to do pretty much anything of use. You can also, if you wanted to, swap Rhyme Rounds with high voltage, so high voltage and Malignant Force mixed together to make corrosive. It's kind of a good situation. It has heat on it, you only really need those 3 mods, and that will give it a 95.2% status chance. You just need to match your elemental damage to the faction you're going up against, to the order you have these mods in. Point Strike, Vital Sense, it's a given. 60% crit chance, 5.3 times crit multiplier, so every second round will do 5 times the damage. Hell yeah. Split chambers for multi-shot, serration for normal damage, and heavy caliber because, well, who's going to say no to an extra 165% damage on any weapon? Especially with the unique trait of kills with the primary fire, charge up the alternate fire, and releases a bouncing projectile that explodes on contact and does an incredibly insane amount of damage. Not even kidding. I mean, I wish its alternate fire was its primary fire mode. Or you could alternate between the two would make this thing amazing, because I do keep forgetting to release the bouncy ball of death from this thing. So it's there when you need it more than anything else. Because, come on, 26,307.4 total damage on the bouncy ball of death. Yeah, especially since this is actually doing less damage than my normal Trumna does. Oh, I would love to have the ribbon. Anybody who watched my original Trumna video would have seen I had a ribbon. I borrowed a ribbon. I borrowed it again when I needed it for the mastery test, and once. I suffered with a mastery test a few times. I used the Trumna once. Just once. With the ribbon in there. Smashed it out the park. Completely annihilated the mastery test. Couldn't have been happier after days of failing this mastery test over and over again. Because I borrowed the ribbon. Not doing that this time round. I will find a ribbon for this damn thing. Eventually. At some point. Maybe. But in all honesty, even without a ribbon in it, this thing is still amazing, and I absolutely love it. Even if I am 5 my deep and I'm going to have to put another one in there for the Exiler slot where terminal velocity is, because I had ammo drum in there, and it's not really needed with 250 magazine. It helps a lot, but terminal velocity just works so much better at getting the rounds where they need to go quicker. Yes, it's a bit of a fart on getting the prime parts and everything else, but it's easier to get the Trumna Prime than it is the normal Trumna, which means it's a good weapon, made better and easier to get a hold of. It's and has a kind of a massive buff to it all at the same time, so it's win, 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 win. Wins all round for the Trumna Prime. Definitely worth getting a hold of. But with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.